So this is it, I say goodbye to this chapter of my ever-changing life. And there's mistakes, the path is long, and I'm sure I'll answer for them when I'm gone. So when the day comes and the sun won't touch my face, tell the ones who cared enough that I finally left this place that's been so cold. Look in my face, all the stories it will tell I can't erase. The road is long, just one more song, a little something to remind you when I'm gone, when I'm gone.
But Zintelli ain't just obsessed with her, he's making moves of his own. Anthony Sessa knows him from KC. They worked together once, a job nobody talks about. Now they're both in Brooklyn, predators circling the same kill.
Is paved with good intentions, so they say, and some believe that no good deed goes unpunished in the end, or so it seems. So when the day comes and the sun won't touch my face, tell the ones who care enough that I finally left this place that's been so cold. Look in my face, all the stories it will tell I can't erase. The road is long, just one more song, a little something to remind you when I'm gone, when I'm gone.
He don't raise his voice, he don't move, he just nods once, real slow. Argument ends right there. They saw it, this kid had gravity. Now he walks the road like it's his own stage.
Changing life, and there's mistakes, the path was long, and I'm sure I'll answer for them when I'm gone, when I'm gone.
Bambi's twisted tales, the Pied Piper, the collector of souls. The town of Hamelin looked pretty on a postcard, cobblestones, church spires, tidy markets. But up close, it stank of rot. The mayor sat in City Hall like a swollen tick, silk vest stretched over his belly, fingers greasy from chicken bones and bribes. The aldermen were worse, pockets lined with stolen taxes, eyes blind to beggars. The merchants cut flour with chalk, watered wine till it tasted like vinegar, shorted ya on every scale. The priests offered blessings for a price, looking the other way as sins piled up. And out in the alleys, the real infestation, rats, big disease-dripping vermin, crawling over corpses in the gutter. And the humankind, pickpockets, pimps, junkies, thieves. The city wasn't dying, it was already dead. It just didn't know enough to lay down. That's when he came. At dawn, when the fog rolled low over the cobbles, a man strolled in through the east gate. Tall, lean, wrapped in a dark coat that dragged the ground, hat pulled low, boots dusted from the road. His face, pale, sharp, forgettable if you wanted to forget it, but the thing no one forgot, the flute, bone-white, polished, smooth like glass, too long for a bird bone, too thick for a deer. Folks whispered it was carved from a human femur. He didn't smile, didn't greet. He just leaned on the gatepost and waited, and sure enough the mayor waddled out for his morning cigar. "You got rats," the piper said. His voice was soft, but it cut like razors. The mayor puffed smoke. "So what? We've had rats forever. What's it to you, stranger?" "I can rid you of 'em, every last one, but it comes at a price." The aldermen gathered, snickering. "What do you want, Gold? Coin? We can pay." The piper tilted his head, eyes cold. "I don't deal in coin. My fee is souls." The mayor laughed, belly shaking. "Souls? Ha! Take all the rats' souls you want. They ain't worth a damn anyway." The piper's smile was thin. "So be it." They shook hands. The piper's grip was cold, colder than winter stone. That night he lifted the flute to his lips. The sound wasn't music. It wasn't a song. It was hunger turned into sound. A low, winding melody that slithered into ears and coiled round spines. The rats froze, thousands of them, mid-bite, mid-scurry. Their red eyes glazed. Then they turned. From the cellars, the sewers, the walls, the pantries, they poured, a tide of fur and teeth, squeaking in eerie harmony. The piper walked slow and steady. The rats marched behind him. Through the market square, past the church, mothers clutched their babies as the swarm surged by. Down to the river. At the bank, the piper blew one long final note. The rats surged forward, plunging into the black water, splash after splash, until the river writhed and foamed. By dawn, Hamelin was clean, not a rat left. The town cheered, bells rang, wine spilled. The mayor sat fat on a throne of gratitude. But debts don't vanish, they just wait. The piper returned to City Hall the next morning. "My price," he said simply. The mayor sneered. "Your price? You think we're paying for what you already done? You're a fool. Get out of here before we hang you." The aldermen laughed, banging their mugs. "Souls," he said. "Ha! This guy's cracked." The piper's expression didn't change. "Oh no, not your souls, your children's." Chapter 6, The Midnight Lullaby. That night the piper played again. This tune wasn't sharp like the rat song. It was soft, sweet, a lullaby that wrapped around hearts like warm milk and honey. Children stirred from their beds, eyes half closed, feet bare, pajamas dragging in dirt. One by one, doors creaked open. Little shadows spilled into the street. Parents woke to silence, beds empty, cribs bare. "Maria! Jacob!" mothers shrieked. Fathers grabbed belts, boots, clubs. But the children didn't stop. The music was louder than blood, stronger than love. They marched step by step out of town. The piper led them to the black mountain at the edge of the forest. He raised his flute one last time. A crack split the stone, yawning wide like a mouth. The children filed in, dozens, hundreds. Their voices hummed, dreamlike, singing fragments of the piper's tune. When the last child stepped through, the crack sealed shut. The music stopped. When the parents arrived, screaming and clawing the rock, there was nothing left but stone. All but one. A crippled boy, too slow to keep pace, sat sobbing in the dust. "He took 'em," the boy whispered. "He took 'em all, and they ain't coming back." Years passed. Hamelin never recovered. The markets emptied, the churches echoed, the laughter of children was gone forever. But travelers said if you passed the mountain at night, you'd hear it. A faint flute winding through the stone, and if you listened too long, you'd swear you heard little voices. Children's voices, begging, scratching, calling out, "Mama, Papa, help." But no one ever opened that mountain again. The piper was never seen. Some said he was a man, some said a demon. Others swore he was death itself, walking the world with a flute made of bone. One thing was certain, he was the collector, and every town's got a debt. Supreme's Gold Dust Cannoli Crunch. Sweet, loud, and impossible to ignore. When regular dessert just ain't supreme enough, you reach for Supreme's Gold Dust Cannoli Crunch. Crunch louder than your enemies, shine brighter than your jewelry, and taste sweeter than your last score. Features: drip certified cannoli cream so smooth it makes Gucci look like Goodwill. Crunch factor: pastry shell cracking louder than a 38 on Mulberry Street. Edible bling dusted with real gold flakes, 'cause Supreme don't roll basic. Christians in telly. I bit into one, and a DJ showed up out of nowhere. Mikey the Hammer. Too sweet for me, but hey, the box doubles as a weapon. Lopez. I can't admit this under oath, but yeah, best damn cannoli I ever seized. Special offer? Order a dozen today, and Supreme throws in his signature drip napkin. Keeps your hands clean while you flex. Supreme's Gold Dust Cannoli Crunch. Dessert so fresh it comes with an entourage. Moral of the story: don't bargain what you can't pay. Every promise has a price, and every debt has a collector. The piper don't take excuses. He don't take IOUs. He takes what matters most. Admiral Impeach's Iron Fist Pasta Sauce. The sauce that conquers continents. You ever eat a bowl of rigatoni and think, this could use more global domination? Well, now you can, with Admiral Impeach's Iron Fist Pasta Sauce, made from real tomatoes grown in embargo zones and simmered down with top-secret military spices. One bite? Boom, you'll be planning invasions from your kitchen table. Features: explosive flavor, detonates on your tongue like a 50-megaton meatball. Classified ingredients, even the FDA ain't cleared to know what's in it. Battle-tested recipe, perfected on submarines, backrooms, and meetings that never made the papers. Mikey the Hammer. I put this sauce on my steak once. The steak tapped out. Nick Palermo. I spilled a jar on my shirt and 3 guys declared me their capo. Lopez. Legally, I gotta say don't buy it. But unofficially, best damn sauce I ever used to bribe a judge. Special offer. Order 2 jars today and get a complimentary ceasefire breadsticks. They'll stop any argument in its tracks. Admiral Impeach's Iron Fist Pasta Sauce. This ain't Nonna's recipe, unless Nonna ran Black Ops. Bambi's Twisted Tales. Hansel and Gretel, the Gingerbread Massacre. Hansel and Gretel were born into hunger. Not the kind where you skip a meal and grumble about it. No, the kind where your belly eats itself. Their father, a broke carpenter, drank more than he built. Their stepmother, a bitter husk of a woman, kept her sharp tongue sharper than her kitchen knife. One night by the fire they heard her whispering to their father, "There's too many mouths. Take 'em to the woods. Let the trees finish what I can't." The father wept into his hands, but cowards don't fight. They fold, and so he agreed. Hansel, clever for his years, caught wind. He snuck bits of bread into his pocket, dropping crumbs along the trail like breadcrumbs would save 'em. But the woods ain't no friend. The birds ate the crumbs before the moon rose. By dawn the children were alone, their father gone, the forest endless. The trees weren't still. They creaked, whispered, leaned in close. Roots shifted underfoot like snakes. Every shadow looked like teeth. Gretel clutched her brother's arm. "Hansel, we're gonna die here." He lied, like older brothers do. "Not if I got something to say about it." After days of staggering, empty bellies gnawing their ribs, they smelled it first. Sugar in the air. Then they saw it. A house of gingerbread and candy, walls of honeycomb, windows of sugar glass, shingles of caramel, gumdrops studding the roof like jewels. The chimney puffed cinnamon smoke. Gretel gasped, "It's beautiful." Hansel, delirious with hunger, shoved his fist straight through a candy-paneled wall. He chewed like an animal, tears in his eyes. But the sweetness turned bitter. The caramel had a tang, like blood burned with sugar. The gumdrops tasted of metal. And then the door creaked open. She stood there, bent, toothless, wrapped in rags that smelled of soot. Her eyes glowed faint green, like swamp fire. Her smile was too wide, too wet. "Eat, little ones, eat your fill. The house is yours." Her voice was honey poured over broken glass. Hansel and Gretel, half dead with hunger, obeyed. But the deeper they ate, the stranger it got. The gingerbread walls bled syrup, the candy cracked like bone. By nightfall, they were inside the house, and the door slammed shut behind them. The inside reeked of iron and sugar. Pots bubbled over fire. Hooks lined the walls, dripping with flesh that weren't animal. Bones hung like trophies, scrubbed clean, too small to be deer, too human to be anything else. The witch's laugh crackled like firewood. "Little Hansel, you'll fatten in my cage. Little Gretel, you'll learn my trade." Hansel was locked in a cage, iron bars sticky with dried syrup. Bones clinked at his feet. Gretel was handed a knife, the handle greasy from 100 hands before hers. "Chop the meat, girl. Stir the stew. Get used to the smell." At night, Gretel heard whispers seep in from the candy walls, voices of children. "Run, girl. Burn her. Or join us." Each day the witch fed Hansel pies, roasted pork, sweet meats glazed in honey. She pinched his arm to test the fat. But Hansel was sly. He poked a chicken bone through the bars. "Still skinny," he'd mutter. The witch cursed her cataracts, growing impatient. Meanwhile, Gretel's hands blistered from scrubbing pans caked in caramelized gore. She hid her anger behind lowered lashes, but each night she whispered to Hansel, "When the time comes, I'll end her." One morning the witch's patience snapped. "Enough! Fat or not, tonight I eat." She shoved Gretel toward the oven, a giant iron beast, its mouth wide, fire roaring inside. "Check it, girl. See if it's hot enough to roast your brother." Gretel bent close. Heat licked her face. She turned, eyes hard. "It's hot enough for you." She shoved with all her strength. The witch screamed, clawing at the frame, nails snapping, skin peeling. Gretel slammed the iron door shut. Smoke billowed, the air filled with shrieks that curdled into silence. The house trembled, the candy walls split, sugar glass shattered. Red syrup leaked down like blood. Hansel burst his cage with a bone shard. He swung, smashing gumdrop lanterns, tearing sugar drapes. Gretel grabbed a cleaver and hacked through gingerbread beams. The children rampaged, destroying the house room by room. Every swing cracked bone, every slash spilled sugar and blood together. The house collapsed in a storm of smoke and ash. Burnt sugar choked the night air. The gingerbread house was no more. Among the rubble, Gretel found a chest, heavy with coins, jewels, and bones. She dragged it out, her face streaked with soot and syrup. Hansel stood beside her, coughing, eyes hollow. "We ain't kids no more, Gretel." "No," she said, "we ain't." When they returned home, their stepmother sneered, so the little rats lived. That night she vanished. Some say she left in the night. Others say Hansel and Gretel fed her to the same flames. Years later, people whispered of Hansel and Gretel. Some said they became killers themselves, prowling the woods, burning down whatever preyed on children. Others claimed they grew rich off the witch's treasure and ruled the town like lords. But when the wind blew right and the smell of burnt sugar rode the breeze, the people knew, somewhere the gingerbread house still smoldered, and the screams of the witch still echoed in the trees. Moral of the story: don't trust what's sweet. Behind every sugar wall is rot. Behind every smile is a snare. The world don't feed you. It fattens you for slaughter. Only the ruthless survive the oven. Giovanni, Goku, D'Angelo's Midnight Espresso Shots. Keeps you up longer than a Rico case. When the boss don't sleep, the crew don't sleep. That's why Goku himself brewed up Midnight Espresso Shots. Stronger than concrete boots, smoother than silk sheets, and guaranteed to keep you awake through any late-night sit-down, stakeout, or suspicious funeral. Features: unholy strength. One shot, and you'll be staring at the wallpaper till dawn. Old-world recipe. Imported beans roasted over the same flames that cooked half of Brooklyn's beef. Respect in a bottle. Show up with one of these and even your enemy's'll kiss your ring. Nick Palermo. I drank 2 and I'm still sweating 3 weeks later. Mikey the Hammer. Better than Red Bull. Red Bull don't make you want to extort the deli guy. Lopez. Legally, this much caffeine should be a controlled substance. Special offer. Buy a 6-pack today and get a free La Tavola Nera shot glass, Tmaun. The only glass strong enough to survive Goku's stare. Giovanni Goku D'Angelo's Midnight Espresso Shots, TM. Sleep is for civilians. Bambi's Twisted Tales, Peter Peter, the Pumpkin Eater. Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife and couldn't keep her. That's how the children sang it in the town square, a sing-song nursery rhyme, passed from mouth to mouth like candy on All Hallows' Eve. But behind every rhyme there's a root, and Peter's root was rotten. He was a big man, broad-shouldered, calloused hands, eyes like muddy water. Didn't talk much, didn't smile. Just worked his patch outside town, a field of pumpkins too big for their soil, orange monsters that seemed to swell overnight. His wife? Sweet, quiet, a girl who once laughed at festivals. After she married Peter, the laugh died. Then she did too, or so they thought. Nobody saw it happen. One day she was on the market steps, hair in ribbons, cheeks red, the next gone. The town asked questions, soft ones. She's sick. She's visiting family. Peter only shrugged, shoulders heavy, eyes colder. But children are cruel. They kept singing, Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. Peter didn't shout, didn't strike, just stared at the children with that hollow look until they scattered like rats. Peter's pumpkins weren't natural. Folks noticed. They grew fast, too fast. In a week, a seed swelled to the size of a man's head. In a month, they were wide as barrels, tough-skinned, with veins like hands pressed against the rind. At night, the patch glowed faintly. Lanterns? No, something from within. People whispered Peter was using more than water and soil, fertilizer of a special kind. Beggars, drifters, folks who wouldn't be missed. And maybe, just maybe, his wife. One autumn dusk, 3 boys dared each other into Peter's patch. They crept through the vines, hearts pounding, until they saw it. Peter himself, lantern in one hand, a cleaver in the other. He approached the largest pumpkin, its skin slick, bulging like something was struggling inside. He cut a hole. The rind split with a wet sound. The boys saw inside, a hollow chamber, pulp scraped clean, chains bolted into orange flesh. And in that chamber, a woman's silhouette, thin arms strapped down, head lolling. It was his wife, alive, barely. The boys ran, piss-soaked with terror. They never told a soul, but the rhyme spread louder. People started disappearing. A farmhand, a drunkard, a preacher's daughter, a constable who sniffed too close. Each time the patch grew thicker. The pumpkins pulsed, their insides glowing red. On stormy nights, folks swore they heard screams carrying on the wind, not from throats, but from the gourds themselves. The stepmother's voice, shrill and desperate. The preacher's daughter weeping, the constable cursing through blood. Peter walked among them, muttering prayers no church knew. Grow strong, hold tight, family forever. Fear makes brave men stupid. One October night, a mob rose, axes, torches, fury. They stormed Peter's patch, shouting for blood. Peter stood at the gate, calm as a priest. "You don't belong here," he said, lantern glowing against his grin. "The patch don't take kindly to thieves." The mob surged in. They hacked pumpkins open. But what spilled wasn't seeds. It was hair, bones, fingernails, faces half digested in pulp. The vines writhed, wrapping legs, squeezing ribs till they cracked. Roots dragged men screaming under the dirt. The mob broke, ran, left their dead behind. Peter stood smiling, lantern held high. One boy from the mob survived. He limped into town, eyes wild, hair white. "They're alive in there," he babbled. "Trapped, crying from inside. The pumpkins breathe. They breathe." Nobody believed him, but nobody ever stepped foot near Peter's patch again. Years passed. The rhyme never died. Parents warned children away from the woods. But travelers still vanished, hunters lost, lovers sneaking out. On cold October nights, if you dare to creep to the patch, you'll see the pumpkins glow from inside. If you press your ear to the rind, you'll hear it, muffled voices, begging for release. And if you linger too long, you'll hear footsteps in the vines, heavy, slow, Peter's voice low as earth. "Now I can keep you." Moral of the story: love twisted into obsession rots. You can't keep what ain't yours. Try and you'll bury yourself in dirt and chains, feed in seeds that never stop growing. And remember, this has been another nightmare from Bambi's Twisted Tales. Subscribe, smash that bell, and join Bambi and the Pizzaverse, where the only thing scarier than the rhyme is the truth behind it.